Hello everyone and welcome back to With the Facts. I'm your host Sydney Garrett.
And I'm your host, James Dunqua.
Today we will be going over some interesting facts about Black Friday and how it relates to voting in the United States.
We will also be giving a special WTF farewell to former Senator Michael Lee.
Last but not least, we will be highlighting a social and political experiment currently happening in China.
Almost everyone in the U.S. who doesn't live under a rock is aware of Black Friday. Black Friday is our greatest, most beloved holiday that immediately follows the traditional pre-game dinner, better known as Thanksgiving.
Soon, many Americans will partake in our annual purge. Black Friday. Men and women alike will trample anyone that gets in between them and the 50% off espresso machines at Walmart.
There have been over 121 deaths and major injuries recorded over Black Friday, with the first recorded death occurring in 2006. While Black Friday is notorious for this wide-scale violence, it is seemingly less controversial than voting in politics.
In 2016, there were just as many people who voted as there were Black Friday shoppers. And as far as we know, there were not any voting poll deaths in 2016. This is why Black Friday is so great.
It transcends everything from race to gender, politics, and religion, because at the end of the day, we're all getting curb stomped for an iPad.
The only rule for Black Friday this year, however, will be to not mention how badly NC played itself in this previous midterm election.
Now, on behalf of WTF, we want to give a heartfelt farewell to former Senator Michael Lee, who lost his job in the state legislature to Harper Peterson. After 4 years of mediocrity, this farewell feels all too soon.
But let's focus on the good things that come from this. Now Mikey will have the chance to check the birth certificates of everyone in the women's bathroom without having to worry about rushing back to Raleigh to help suppress more voters.
At last, he'll have a free second to watch American Idol and cast his vote for his favorite contestant, but not before he verifies his identity with a driver's license, passport, or other form of government-issued ID.
And we know it must be tough to leave office just before being able to do some real damage to abortion rights. But look on the bright side, Mikey. You can still allow energy companies to put toxic chemicals in your own water, even if you can no longer poison everyone in Wilmington.
We will definitely miss you, Michael Lee, but hey, maybe one day they'll make a movie about your life, which will be filmed in Georgia. Welcome home.
On that note, we will now go to Jack Kessler for some Chinese politics.
In China's far western province of Zhejiang, the ruling Chinese Communist Party has undertaken an experiment in state power. The end goal of this experiment, which has roots leading back to Stalinist Russia, is to completely pacify a portion of the population that the Communist Party considers a threat to its continued security. In this case, the population is the Uyghurs, an ethnic group which shares linguistic, religious, and cultural ties to the countries of Central Asia. In contrast, the Uyghurs share little in common with the Han Chinese who rule them from Beijing, which has led to ethnic disputes and disputes over regional autonomy. Compounding the issue is the problem of religion. While China is officially an atheist state, the Uyghurs are largely Muslim, a fact which Beijing sees as disruptive to both the safety of the region and its control over the populace. After years of tension between the native population and the government officials, during which both sides committed acts of violence, Beijing has begun a crackdown on the Uyghur population as a whole. This crackdown has been led by Chen Huanghuo, the former Communist Party Secretary of Tibet, known for his harsh, totalitarian methods for dealing with ethnic dissent. The crux of these efforts have been the establishment of a vast series of re-education camps across the province, in a manner reminiscent of the Soviet Union's system of gulags. As for what happens within the camps, many inmates have described being subjected to a complex curriculum of propaganda and abuse, during which classes are taught on, quote, how to not disclose state secrets and how not to be Muslim. Few of those incarcerated were given a trial before coming to the camps, and most were simply taken off the streets or directly from their homes. As it stands, China's Zhejiang province, much like Tibet before it, has been transformed into a totalitarian police state that seeks to wipe its native inhabitants off the face of the earth. At any rate, it's a far cry from the Chinese Communist Party's line that it serves the people. Thanks, and back to you guys at the desk.
Well, that sums it up for us this week.
I'm your host, James Dunqua.
And I'm your host, Sydney Garrett. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.